Stanley Young was a man forged from granite, his physical presence commanding, his demeanor unyielding. Yet beneath that formidable exterior, a tempest raged, a maelstrom of doubt and burgeoning terror. He had once believed himself fortunate, chosen to stand among the architects of a new world order, powerful figures who shaped destinies. His ascent had led him to chambers of immense significance, but none like this. He stepped into a space unlike any other, a clandestine sanctuary carved not merely from stone, but from secrets ancient and cruel. The air itself seemed to hum with a malevolent energy, a magnificent yet profoundly oppressive atmosphere. An immediate, visceral dread seized him, a cold tendril wrapping around his heart. He felt an oppressive presence, unseen, yet undeniably potent, pressing down upon him from the very walls. This was not just a room, it was a crucible of dark power. He watched the powerful men, their faces alight with satisfaction, their confidence absolute. They spoke of grand designs, of intricate maneuvers, their voices echoing with self-assured authority. But as Stanley observed them, a profound, chilling realization dawned. These men, these titans of industry and influence, were not masters of their own destiny. They were puppets, their strings pulled by an unseen hand, their every move orchestrated by a force beyond their comprehension. A darker force, something ancient and insidious, controlled them all. An overwhelming, desperate urge to escape surged through him, a primal scream trapped within his chest. He yearned to flee this chamber, to break free from its malignant influence, to sever all ties with this suffocating world. But even as the thought formed, a cold certainty settled in his mind. Escape would not be easy. It would not be quiet. He was already too deeply entangled, too privy to their shadowed machinations. Stanley understood with a sickening lurch that his knowledge had transformed him. He was no longer merely an associate, he was a witness, and therefore a target. The implications were immediate and terrifying. His fear sharpened, focusing on his family, on their vulnerability. He pictured them, exposed and defenseless, within the reach of these powerful men, these unwitting pawns of a greater evil. The thought was a poison in his veins. The futility of resistance became starkly clear. To attempt resignation, to simply walk away, would be an act of suicidal naivety. He was bound, inextricably linked to their dark enterprise. An internal struggle raged, a silent battle over whether to confide in his wife, to burden her with this unspeakable truth. The weight of that decision pressed down on him, heavy and suffocating. He felt the bars of a cage closing around him, each click a final, irreversible sound. The world outside continued its relentless march, oblivious to the unseen strings. Stanley watched the global chaos unfold on his television screen. The escalating conflict in Ukraine, the simmering tensions in Israel, the volatile dance of the world markets. Each headline, each crisis, resonated with a chilling familiarity. He recognized the patterns, the deliberate destabilization, the engineered chaos. These were not random events, they were the meticulously planned outcomes, the very crises his powerful associates had discussed in hushed tones, their eyes gleaming with cold ambition. He had heard them speak of such things, of the necessity of disruption to usher in their new order. Then, a chance encounter. A digital breadcrumb leading him to a video. It was an analysis of Psalm 83, a biblical prophecy presented by a scholar whose voice was calm, yet whose words carried the weight of ages. Stanley listened, captivated and increasingly unnerved. The scholar's interpretation linked ancient enemies to modern nations, connecting the dots between biblical verses and current geopolitical events. The revelation struck Stanley with shattering force, dismantling his understanding of the world, exposing a terrifying, preordained design. The core of the prophecy echoed through the quiet room, a chilling declaration from antiquity. Come, let us destroy them as a nation, so that Israel's name is remembered no more. It was a blueprint for annihilation, a divine warning. The scholar meticulously mapped the ancient names to their modern counterparts: Edom, Ishmaelites; Moab, Hagrites; Gebal, Ammon, Amalek; Philistia, Tyre. Each name a piece of a puzzle now aligned with modern Middle Eastern nations: Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Gaza, and others. The precision was unnerving. Even Assyria, encompassing northern Iraq, Turkey, and Syria, was included in this confederacy, a vast alliance against a single nation. The prophecy's alignment with current headlines, with the secret meetings and burgeoning alliances he knew of, was too precise to be coincidence. It was a terrifying mirror reflecting his own clandestine knowledge. The scholar made a crucial distinction. Psalm 83 described a regional conflict, a specific confederacy, not the larger, later war detailed in Ezekiel 38. This was a prelude, a distinct and imminent threat. Significantly, Egypt was absent from the confederacy, a detail that resonated deeply with Stanley. It aligned perfectly with the powerful men's plans, their strategic alliances, their carefully cultivated relationships in the region. The pieces clicked into place with horrifying clarity. The prophecy also promised the Confederacy's ultimate defeat, its failure. But this victory, Stanley realized, would come at an unimaginable cost. It would be forged in immense blood, in widespread war, unleashing global chaos on an unprecedented scale. The weight of it all, the confluence of his secret knowledge in this ancient, terrifying prophecy, became unbearable. Stanley Young, the man of granite, crumbled. An overwhelming breakdown seized him, tears streaming down his face, his body racked with sobs. He collapsed to his knees, the floor cold beneath him, his formidable strength utterly spent. His voice, choked with anguish, rose in a desperate plea for forgiveness. It was a profound shift, a seismic tremor within his soul. The fear of men, of their power and their reach had been replaced. Now a deeper, more profound terror gripped him, the fear of God. This was his breaking point, the crucible of his transformation, setting the stage for a journey he could never have foreseen.